you are listening to Dr. Troy Munson with Words of Radiance. Now here is your host, Dr. Munson.
Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Troy Munson on Words of Radiance. And, we've been hitting this concept of unhappiness and how the brain works and how to really begin to see the inner workings of the mind and begin to undo it as well. I just had a client come in that when we started discussing some of the things that they wanted to clear up and get better, they had body concerns and things of that nature. But then all of a sudden, they were reluctant a bit to mention that, well, there is something else. And, I don't tell people that I have some understanding about how the mind works. I don't tell people that I'm okay counseling you if that's what you need to do. I don't tell anybody that. But when I remain in a place of complete readiness to hear whatever it is you have to tell me without judgment and without condemnation and in absolute love, people tell me the darndest things. And this particular gal is now, kind of talking about what her fear about her job and shed tears upon it. And I waited for a moment until she got out of that thing and kind of got back into control, so to speak. And I said, now, wait a minute, I don't want to bypass this. This is really, really vital. Where did your mind go that you began to be unhappy? What are you concerned about? What is your fear? And so then she laid it out a little bit better about, if her some of her clients, her bigger clients, don't allow anybody in their buildings without a vaccine or a passport, so to speak, what will happen to her, and she'll lose her job. And then her mind went, what would it look like when she lost her job, and all these other things that would possibly happen to her. And when she realized that, and I said, now you realize that you just went down a road that actually doesn't exist. And she was very fast. She goes, oh my gosh, you're right. I just totally did. I totally went to a place where it was just a supposed future and it wasn't even real. I said, yes, you did. And you recognized it admirably fast. That is awesome that you've now seen through your mind's shenanigans one time very clearly. And we cannot be sad without an unhappy story. So if I'm sitting here at peace and I don't have very much thought going on and I'm just happy to be, and Spirit is directing as wills, and it's not like I sit there in a room and do nothing all day. That is not what I'm talking about. And that is boring, and that is not what God is about. You will absolutely be directed to do things, and you'll be amazed at what you will be doing when you let go and let Spirit take the lead, and which knows everything, that knows the outcome of everything around you, knows what everybody else is going on around you, knows where to put you in the prime position that is for your gifts and your gifting and your experiences to bring light to another individual, to pull them through their darkness. I mean, goodness, you have no idea the wild ride that's about to impart upon you if you will let go for one moment and start seeing that your brain and the learned behavior that you have in your life is not yours. It's literally a made-up, fictitious world in your mind. Now, the more that you strengthen the negative beliefs that you have, you will continue to draw negative things and experiences into your life. And you'll say things like, see, Dr. Munson, totally happens. It just happens to me. And I'll be like, what were you thinking about? Well, okay, I was kind of thinking a lot of negative things. Well, of course, if that's what you're doing. But if your mind is now still and you're able to radiate peace, which is an incredibly high level of vibrational frequency in your body and around you that extends out for miles, if not eternity, and vastness of space, if you're generating this kind of field of love and peace, I can tell you something important. You are going to draw those experiences into your life. and you're going to be completely dumbfounded at what happens around you. I am routinely just in awe of what happens around me as I stay as clear as possible. Now, it sounds like that I have already achieved this high level of spiritual development and that I have no place to go. That is not true. And do not for one moment think I don't have my own stuff. Just a week ago, I'm like, wow, this is really hitting me. I was knee deep in a thought that just would not let go of my head. And I understand what's going on at a deep level and worked at years and years, if not decades, trying to get some peace in my head. And it literally took me 35, 40 minutes to regain peace in my head. I was shocked at how long it was. I have not had something like that happen in a very long time. But it also told me this: hey, I've got a bit of work to do in this area. And it immediately showed me where I believed lack still existed in my life. So I'm not promising you a rose garden here, so to speak, but I am promising you that if you do the work, if you go through that aspect of letting go of your thoughts and doing like what we've talked about in some of the other videos as well as podcasts, you will begin that process of ridding your mind of negativity and putting positive thoughts first in it, but then leaning towards that peace that you want so desperately that so many people do. And what they don't understand is that peace is actually happiness. All of us want happiness, but we're pointing outside of ourselves as what will give us happiness. Hey, that new car, that new house, that new spouse, they're going to give me happiness. I got news for you. Ain't going to happen, because the unhappiness has been in your head the whole time. When you let go of those thoughts that are plaguing you that you put there, now have you got some real strength and happiness. And so when I finished up working with this person, just real briefly, I told her, I said, now you've got some work to do inside your head, but where these thoughts come from, the sadness and things that just seem to come on us so quickly, the mind can literally go about, I would say, well over 100,000 miles an hour, because it develops an entire train of thought and an unhappy story in an instant. It is way less than a second, by the way. If you ever have small children and something happens that's contrary to what their thinking is, you can watch them dive down into unhappiness and crying almost instantly. And yet they cannot do it without an unhappy story that they created in their own mind, just like you and I do still today. So your brain is very fast. You must get a hold of it, and you must want to get a hold of it. The decision that you make to get a hold of it is a powerful one, and you'll start seeing through the mind, or rather the brain's shenanigans, and to let go of all that thinking, and then you'll be still and at peace. And then you'll realize that, you know what, something much bigger than just me exists underneath the surface of me. And that is God, that is Spirit, that is Christ, that is whatever you want to call it. I'm not daunted by words. They don't bother me. I don't put a lot of meaning to words. I get it. People come to me all the time and have these ideas in their head that are very confining. I'm not into confining me any more than I'm absolutely confined right now into a little body. But I digress. I hope this was helpful. I hope this is another way to see unhappiness. I hope that you take this opportunity the next time that you have a negative emotion inside your head, whether anger, whether fear, whether pride, whether lack, whether guilt, whether simple sadness, apathy. Look deeply into that and figure out, where did I have an unhappy story attached to this? And what is the belief attached to this? Because when this gal figured it out, and I said, now you have beliefs that you have put in your own head. Those beliefs, you must ferret out, and we'll work on those as time goes on. But just know that there are beliefs that you put in there because of things that have happened to you in your past, and we try to make it okay in our brain. And so our brain said, well, if people treat you poorly, then you must be unvaluable. And so it put that belief inside your head that you have no value or worth. And you will make decisions based on that no value or worth. And so you watch your actions and what you say to people and things you do and how you treat others. That will tell us what your beliefs are. And so if you don't like what's happening around you, then you have some beliefs of your own to get rid of. But that's the joy. You now have some authority because you've started to see it. So if you have questions, concerns, if you're wondering about how to do that a little bit better. This is a first time hearing of this. You haven't heard my other podcasts. Dig into those, but shoot me a message. Happy to help you through that and give you some real concrete things that you can begin that process of working on and seeing some things in your own mind and freeing yourself, which is an amazing place to be. Until next time, I'm Dr. Troy Munson on Words of Radiance.